It's mad to think that this video that we'll be reacting to today is essentially one of the core foundations in this channel growing to where it is now. It's mad. In fact, it was the very first video I made after the channel started to grow from the Rich Energy Red Bull video. Didn't think I'd ever go back to the channel. This was the video that announced my intention with Tommo F1, and look where we are. I was literally on 2-figure subscribers at this time, and to all of you originals out there, check the kitchen background with me and Holden Minton blurred out in the back as well. What a throwback. Right, let's get analysing, shall we?
You know, YouTube works in funny ways.
Probably wouldn't be that hat. I would, to be fair, I would have replicated this, but I don't have that hoodie anymore. I would have worn that with that's my LA cap backwards. I don't know why I wore it backwards. The framing ain't actually too bad on this. It's shocking on some of my earlier videos, but it's not too bad. I'm fairly proportional, you know, I'm quite happy with that.
First and foremost, my most improved driver for 2020, I am going with...
Great suspense. Destroyed my eardrums.
Lancelot Stroll.
Lance Stroll as most improved. To be fair, I don't think I'm a million miles off here. He got 2 podiums this year. He got a pole position as well. Don't forget that. Particularly at the start of the year, he flew. He was banging up until Mugello, and then obviously he got COVID and his performances just seemed to nosedive towards the end of the year. So I think that's at least half a point. To be fair, I would say most improved has to be Pierre Gasly, because you look at his season at Red Bull and then how well he's done this year. That is probably Pierre. But Lance Stroll, in terms of most improved, I'd say he's definitely up there.
And then for biggest surprise, to me, it wouldn't be too much of a surprise because I do very much like the guy. I'm probably a little bit biased because my boy Alex Albon, I think he's going to have a great 2020. I really think he's going to secure, firm, make absolute, without any shadow of a doubt, that he was the right choice for that seat to sit
Tommo, stop talking. Oh dear. Maybe I cursed it, but let's take the L on that one. Okay. Biggest surprise? Surprisingly poor. Sorry, Alex. You know I love you, man, but it's not been great, has it? Oh, that is jokes. That is fun.
Now we've got biggest flop. Don't like to get too negative, but unfortunately, the way things are going for a certain Mr. Sebastian Vettel, I do not see them changing around anytime soon. I'm sorry, Seb.
Now, I don't even think I know I didn't anticipate that Seb would finish where he did in the driver's title this year, but I think that's a W. Of course, it has to be a way up between Seb and Alex for biggest flop of the year. Maybe Latifi as well, but it's hard to really rate him. The fact that Seb has the experience he has the world titles he has, yet has been absolutely demolished by his teammate, whatever the reason, whether it's Seb lost it, whether it's all the car, whether it's something in between, which is my personal opinion, my take on it. You can't deny that Seb has had an awful season at Ferrari, and I called it.
And then I've gone with biggest rivalry, and I'm going to go into team rivalry. And I'm not going to say Seb and Charles. I'm going to say Daniel Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon. So you've got 2 drivers.
Okay. Ricciardo and Ocon, biggest inter-team rivalry. I guess it depends on what you define as rivalry, but for me, it was when I made this video, I feel it was like most bitter and like could get a bit feisty, because obviously we know that both Ricciardo and Ocon in the past have had on-track beef with their teammates. And to be fair, there's not been much this year, but I would say Renault's probably top of that, because there's been a few like team decisions and Ricciardo not being happy with being stuck behind Ocon and vice versa. It's never really come to blows like it has in previous seasons with drivers. But I mean, the closest battle has for sure been Sainz and Norris. But again, it's rival. I don't know. I'm taking half a dub on this. All right, that's the 4 pre-predictions made. All done. Let's actually jump into the full 20 driver list, shall we? I'm not confident, I'll be honest, because, well, I know for a fact the Ferrari anomalies messed this list up big time. One rule, I'm also removing Aitken, Fittipaldi and Hulkenberg from this list, because there's no way I could have predicted. This is pre-COVID Tommo. Look at how naive he is. Look at him. Look at his stupid face. I just want to be ranking the drivers that we thought would be starting the season, and did start the season, to be fair.
Okay, so we'll start from the back. I'm going to start. Sorry, Nicholas. Sorry, I know it's your first season in F1, Mr. Latifi.
Latifi P20, again, in this list. In real life, he finished P21 in the driver standings, but he is P20 when you remove Hulkenberg from this. So I'm spot on. I can't really pat myself on the back for that, can I? Come on. That was pretty much the easiest prediction here, let's be honest.
As is George Russell, just above you.
George Russell, P19. I mean, look, he got the points. I'm including his points from his Mercedes drive, which are the only reason he's not P19, let's be honest. And why am I including those Mercedes points? Because I make the rules, all right? We all know those 3 points should have been 25 points, but they were 3.
18th, I put Roman Grosjean. He's stealing. He's absolutely thieving a living in that Haas car. I do not know what he did to
Tommo. Bit harsh. I've got to be honest. Back in these days, I didn't think anyone had watched my videos, so a bit more aggressive sometimes. I mean, to be fair, his performances weren't great, Grosjean's, let's be honest. But yeah, P18, I put him here. And I'm spot on. He was P18. I really hope he gets a run out in a car over winter testing, because he deserves, for his last memory in F1 car, to not be that horrific accident that he somehow escaped. That's just, it's still insane.
17th, and this is not to doubt his skill in any way, shape or form. I'm putting Kimi Räikkönen because he started really well last season.
Kimi P17. I underestimated Kimi, to be fair, but I feel like I quite accurately estimated the performance of the Alfa Romeo Sauber, because it's not great, is it? Kimi did pull out some bangers this year, though, so fair play to him.
16th, we've got K-Mag. I do really rate K-Mag. I think he's a really good driver.
I agree with you, Tommo, from last year, but P19 for K-Mag, nowhere near 16, unfortunately. Only got the 1 point. That Haas just an absolute dog this year, wasn't it? I didn't expect it to be that bad. Sad to see Kev go, because, again, I do think he's definitely got the minerals. He's got the ability to be in F1, but it's not meritocracy, is it?
15th, we've got Mr. Daniel Kvyat.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not far off. He was P14, not P15. That AlphaTauri over-delivered in terms of the car, but Daniel under-delivered relative to Pierre massively. Daniel had a strong end to the year for sure, but the start of the year and most of the season he was nowhere near Pierre. And now it looks like he's losing his seat to Yuki Tsunoda, which I'm not surprised, to be honest.
14th, we're putting Giovinazzi. I do think he'll do, 14th.
Giovinazzi 14th. Again, I kind of overestimated the Alfa Romeo. And to be fair, Giovinazzi, I think, has had a really good end to the year. His start of the year wasn't quite good enough, though. And I think that reflected in the points and his gap between him and Kimi. At least from P20 to P14, where we are now, all the drivers are correct. They're just mostly in the wrong order.
Now in 13th, this is probably one of the biggest calls. I'm putting Esteban Ocon. I think he's going to have a very inconsistent...
Ocon P13, where he actually finished P12, so I wasn't a million miles off. Vettel finished in P13, which... Imagine, because I remember, right, when I put Vettel where I did in this video, and you'll see where I did later, I got stick for, you're underranked Vettel. Imagine if I put Vettel in P13 at the time. This channel would have died before it had any opportunity to get off the ground, for crying out loud. Who could possibly have predicted a 4-time world champion in a car that 2 seasons prior, he very much could have won the driver's title, to finish P13 in the driver's standings?
And in 12th, I'm putting Pierre Gasly.
Yeah, that was the main reason for this kind of... I didn't think the AlphaTauri would be any good. Again, how much of it is Pierre overperforming and Daniel underperforming in that car? We will never know, ultimately, where that AlphaTauri sits, because there's two such contrasting performances there from the two drivers. But, I mean, Gasly massively overperformed, didn't he, this year, compared to how he had at Red Bull in the season previous. I'm going to say it now. Pierre Gasly retains my title of Driver of the Year, 100%. What is mad to see as well is that Gasly and Ocon both got podiums, which again, if you'd have told 2019 Tommo that, he'd have told you to shut the up.
Lance Stroll, I'm putting him 11th. I do think he'll
Spot
do well.
on.
I think that.
Spot on, Tommo. He was P11, and he did do well. Again, when you consider the whole season, particularly the start of the year, when he was sitting 4th in the Drivers' Championship, up until Mugello, wasn't it? Something like that. He did have a good year. Compared to previous years, you know what I mean? Spot on, P11, well done.
But I'm putting Daniel Ricciardo. I think it's going to be dependent entirely on the Renault.
Country mile off there, Tommo. This was the first one to take a real hit from the Ferrari decline. Daniel Ricciardo, I predicted him P10. He ended up P5, didn't he? 2 podiums as well for the beautiful Australian man. I'll take that.
In 9th, it is my number 1, Lando Norris. I think he will have another good season.
2 things to point out. A, that was spot on. And B, at the time, Lando was my favourite driver. I hadn't quite developed the love of Alex that I have since. Lando's my number 2/3 now with Daniel Ricciardo. But yeah, spot on, Tommo. Well done. P9 for Lando. Exactly as you said, Sunshine.
Perez P8. Thoroughly underrated. Did a wonderful job last season in that Racing Point. Did a smashing.
Thoroughly underrated. Sergio Perez, and had a banging year. I mean, obviously, he finished P4 in the drivers, which is just a madness because, again, Ferrari and Alex fell away. Charles actually finished P8. And if you'd have told me at the start of the year that Sergio Perez would finish 4 places ahead of Charles Leclerc, I would have laughed in your stupid face.
And then that means Carlos Sainz will be in P7 without
P7. Only 1 place off, and it was actually Alex Albon who filled this position. But Carlos, again, consistent job from the smooth operator this year. Will he regret going to Ferrari? I think he will. I genuinely think he will long term. I really do.
Over the course of the season, I still think that the hierarchy will maintain its strength at the top. So we're starting.
You were wrong. You were very wrong, Tommo. Very wrong. I mean, kind of half wrong, because 1 team and 1 driver fell from that 6 driver dominance. Whatever, carry on.
We're starting with the top 3 teams, and unsurprisingly, from my biggest flop, I'm putting Sebastian Vettel P6. Sorry, Seb. I think this is it for you in F1, I'm afraid. You've got a kid now. You've got another kid, should I say. You've got, I'm sure, a very beautiful wife. You know,
she's called Hannah.
Have a nice last season. Enjoy it. But I'm afraid you'll be 6th, mate, and you're not going to be going to 2021.
No confidence there whatsoever. I said P6 as a bad result, and he ended up P13. What a year 2020's been. Again, I remember getting stick for putting Seb P6. Turns out I was actually being incredibly kind, putting him 7 places above where he actually finished.
P5, this is a big call, but I'm putting Valtteri Bottas. Sorry, I've got no faith. I think Mercedes will take their foot off a little bit.
No chill, Tommo. Jeez. Bottas P5. Very wrong. He was P2, wasn't he? Look, I was assuming you'd have 3 teams battling for wins. And I was assuming that Alex would translate his good performances at the end of 2019 in the Red Bull to 2020. Neither of those things happened. I'm very sorry, Valtteri.
And then in 4th, Alex, I think that'll be a great result for him, finishing P4 in the championship. I think you'll get plenty of podiums next year. I do think he's the real deal. I think he's got the ability. He's already confident, clearly behind the wheel. He's not going to break the top 3 because they're very clearly defined in my mind. But I think Alex will be P4.
Wrong. And guess who was actually P4? Of course it was Sergio bloody Perez, wasn't it? Oh my God. Just make a decision, Red Bull. I literally just anything. Just announce Minton for the seat. I don't care. Just say something. I just want this story to end of who's getting that bloody Red Bull seat, please. I'm filming this on the 15th of December, so it may have been announced by now. I bloody hope so.
I'm going to go with Charles Leclerc in P3.
I mean, look, if Ferrari had delivered a car that they should have done, then I think Charles P3, in terms of his performances, the way he managed to get P3, he managed to get on the podium with that absolute dumpster fire of Ferrari. His talent is very much up there, but unfortunately, it just didn't quite happen, did it?
And then in 2nd, and this is a big call, I do not think that Lewis will get his 7th world title. Lewis will finish 2nd, and I think Max will finish P1.
Look, okay, Max should have really finished P2, shouldn't he? He got done over by dodgy reliability and tyres blowing up and that. He should have definitely beaten Bottas, right? But a combination of also Max making some mistakes and being a bit impatient at times. I don't think I genuinely did doubt Hamilton. I was thinking because of the new regulations, Mercedes might take their foot way off the gas. Of course, Hamilton slapped it. Of course, Hamilton dominated, didn't he? That's just what Lewis does. Max's time will come, though. I have no doubt. So, we are done. 4 out of 20 correct. Not great. But then only 4 were one position off. So 8 out of 20 were within one. Look, I'm just trying to find a pog somewhere in all of this horrific prediction-ness. This was good fun. I enjoyed this. It was nice to watch back this, which was just such a fundamental video at the start of this channel. And don't you worry, I will be doing my fresh new 2021 season predictions very, very soon. So keep your eyes out for that. I do wonder where we'll be in a year's time from now. I just bloody hope that this virus has scarpered by then, because I'm so done with her. Please don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff, so that you don't miss my stuff going forward if you enjoy what I do. Thank you, as always. My name is Tommo. Thanks again. Have a good one. Ta-da.